a chef they brought in specifically for this event to help them out. Just to give you a brief rundown of kind of my history, where I came from. Grew up in a small town in Vermont. Went to school in Vermont too, at a small school called the New Culinary Institute. Most of my career has been spent in the resort industry, and specifically, I spent about 8 years right next door at Kingsman. So that's kind of my connection to the park back when we were owned by the same company. During my time there, I did a few demonstrations here. The Bud and Barbecue event that happened a few years ago. I did an event for that. So that's kind of what brought me here and how I got here. But now about the food. What everyone's interested in. So obviously, with limited cooking equipment and availability, I had to go with cold items for this. But the motivation behind the dishes I chose, and kind of the idea behind the whole event, is to give you a taste of maybe some ingredients that you've never tried before, or maybe even flavor combinations that maybe you've never had go together before or tried. So there's a little bit of both here. So over here is our cheese platter. And the cheeses are pretty much European style cheeses. They're all directly from the goat cheese is actually an American product, but done in this style of a French chèvre or goat cheese. Very mild flavor, creamy. Some of your aged or harsher goat cheeses, depending on the variety of goat, have kind of a musty, kind of grassy feel. This is very, very mild, very approachable. So the motivation kind of with all these dishes is we want it to be a little bit experimental but not out of reach. So that's kind of our goal with all of this. Goat cheese is probably a good one. For those that don't, or are scared of goat cheese or are intimidated by it, chèvre cheese is a great one. It's very creamy. It's got almost a texture of like a cream cheese, but it's not overly, you get a little bit of that bitiness but not overpowering. Underneath that is a blackberry and balsamic relish, and it's just some blackberries that I mixed with some balsamic vinegar, a little bit of mint, and some black pepper. The idea being that vinegar is going to be balanced out by the sweetness of the berry, and then that's going to pair well with the creaminess. That'll clean your palate from the creaminess from the cheese. All that time for one item. I'll try to go a little faster. Brie cheese, that's one that's typically a little more approachable by most people. Again, very, very creamy. And that's actually, with that is a rosemary toasted pecan. So I just took some fresh rosemary and chopped that up, mixed it with a little bit of salt and a little bit of sugar, again, balancing out those flavors, and then toasted them off in the oven. Some of the aromatics of the rosemary come out into the nut, so you'll get a little bit of that. And then this is a variety of Swiss cheese. It's called Emmenthal or Emmenthaler. It's traditional cheese they use for fondue, but authentic. That is a little bit lighter than the American version, but it's that Alpine Swiss. Underneath that is a red wine reduction. So a little bit of red wine, a little bit of honey, reduced down to a thick syrup, and then on top is a little just honey. So all those flavors should balance out. Nice, hopefully when you taste these, they'll leave you with a memory, even if it's just a little something that you'll be, I've never tried that before, or that's a great flavor, that's a flavor combination. Our goal behind everyone that comes to these booths is that when they leave, they have a memory that they take with them. So next is, this represents Spain, and this is, I'm calling it tapas. Tapas is a term used in Spain for basically like a hors d'oeuvre or a small bite. And they, if you go to a tapas bar, you usually order multiple smaller bite items, and they're usually a little bit larger than this. Usually they're 3 or 4 bites, but these are some authentic flavors from Spain, and that's really my motivation. Because I don't know how many of you have tried Marcona almonds. Marcona almonds are completely different than any other almond you'll ever try. They have an incredible, just crunch and a crisp to them that is like no other. It's probably my favorite nut. That has been toasted with a little smoked paprika. So again, more Spanish flavors infused in it. This is a very famous cheese, manchego, which is actually a sheep's milk, which some people get a little intimidated by. But it's very good. It's one of my favorite Spanish cheeses by far. And that's served with membrillo, or dulce de membrillo, which is, does anybody know what it is?
Milk of...
That's as far as I got.
Quince.
Okay.
It's actually quince. Quince is a fruit. The best way to describe it would be it's a pear with a little citrus flavor. So that's cooked down and made into basically like a jelly, and that's what that is. And that is a very classic pairing. If you go to Spain, that's what you'll see: the cheese with the quince paste. And then finally, just some marinated olives. I added a few ingredients to that. I added some orange zest and some spices, some bay leaves, olive oil. So they're marinated, and some of those flavors are infused into the olives. So.
Can we take you home to cook?
But please, I'm here to answer. I'm here to answer any questions about the food, not just about this food, but about any food any food questions you have about the event that you may have. And, I will tell you, we're still kind of finalizing some of the recipes, and we're playing around with which booths are going where and what the finals are. But we're about 95% there, so we're really excited.